If you have been shopping for a laptop, building a desktop, or wondering why new phones keep adding more memory, do not look only at the processor. The part of the tech story hiding in plain sight is memory, not storage space. Memory, the working area that a computer or phone uses while it is doing things. On June 24th, Micron, one of the major memory makers, said industry demand for DRAM and NAND was significantly exceeding industry supply. It also said it expects tight conditions to persist beyond calendar 2027. That is a manufacturer's forward-looking view, not a guarantee of the price of any particular laptop, phone, or RAM kit. But it is useful evidence that the economics behind consumer devices are changing. Today, we are going to separate the confirmed facts from the easy headlines. We will explain why AI workloads care so much about memory, why the expensive memory inside an AI server is connected to the ordinary RAM in a laptop, what this does and does not tell us about future device prices, and how to shop without panic buying. Start with the vocabulary. Storage is where files live when you're not actively using them. An SSD, a hard drive, or flash storage in a phone. DRAM is short-term working memory. Open a browser with many tabs, edit photos, run a game, or use a local model, and a system moves active data through memory because it needs it quickly. Bandwidth is how quickly memory can move data. Capacity is how much data can be held at once. Both matter, but they solve different problems. A machine can have plenty of storage and still feel constrained if its working memory is too small. Conversely, extra memory does not automatically make every task faster if the processor, graphics hardware, cooling, or software is the limit. AI makes this distinction more visible. A model needs its parameters and the information it is working with available in memory. On a server, the specialized, very high bandwidth memory near an accelerator is often called HBM. In a laptop, PC RAM and shared system memory do a different job. They are not interchangeable products, but they are part of a connected manufacturing and demand picture. Micron's June results are the central confirmed signal in this episode. The company reported that DRAM and NAND industry demand continued to significantly exceed industry supply. It said data center DRAM and NAND bit shipments in calendar 2026 were expected to more than double from 2 years earlier. It also reported that its data center revenue exceeded $25 billion in its fiscal third quarter. Those numbers are not a retail price tracker. They do not tell us what a 16-gigabyte laptop memory upgrade costs at a store today. They do tell us why a supplier sees stronger demand for memory and storage across the industry. The company's explanation is important. It says AI systems depend architecturally on memory performance and capacity. More advanced memory products, including new HBM generations, take more complex manufacturing and packaging. It also says technology transitions and the growing share of HBM can put pressure on non-HBM supply. That is the linkage. A factory and its technical resources are not an infinitely elastic pool. There is another confirmed detail worth watching. Micron said it had signed 16 strategic customer agreements, representing roughly 20% of its DRAM volume and 1/3 of its NAND volume over the relevant period. These are business agreements, not a promise that consumers will be shut out. Still, they show large customers are trying to secure supply for the years ahead. The obvious response is build more factories. The problem is that memory capacity is not a toggle. Micron describes new greenfield fabs as large, complex, and time-consuming. It points to construction lead times, skilled trade shortages, permitting, energy infrastructure, and increasingly complex process technology. Even after a building exists, qualifying a new node and reaching good yields takes time. This is why a simple chart of demand rising and a factory announcement appearing on screen should not be treated as a same-year solution. Supply can improve, and companies are investing. But the timing, product mix, and yields matter. A plant designed for a particular memory technology is not a universal spare room for every kind of DRAM or flash. Micron's own language should also keep us careful. Its view about conditions beyond 2027 is forward-looking. The company lists risks and says actual results can differ materially. So the responsible conclusion is not RAM will definitely be expensive until 2028. The conclusion is narrower. A major supplier is describing a tight AI-shaped memory environment whose constraints are meaningful enough for buyers to monitor. For a laptop buyer, the most practical consequence is configuration discipline. Do not buy a machine just because its box says AI PC. First, ask whether the memory is enough for your work and whether it can be upgraded later. For light browsing, documents, streaming, and video calls, 16 gigabytes is a practical floor for many new general-purpose systems in 2026. That is advice, not a universal law. A well-optimized machine can do modest tasks with less, and heavy creative, development, virtual machine, or local AI work can need substantially more. The next question is more durable. Is the memory soldered? Many thin laptops use non-upgradable memory. If you expect to keep the computer for several years, compare the cost of a higher memory configuration at purchase with the cost of replacing a constrained laptop earlier. This is especially important because buyers cannot assume a future DIY upgrade will be available or cheap. Intel's April announcement for its value-oriented Core Series 3 is a useful reminder that a modern processor is only one part of the system. Intel said more than 70 partner designs would launch through the year and highlighted up to 40 platform tops for AI-ready workloads. Those are platform claims, and performance varies by configuration. A laptop's actual RAM amount, memory channels, cooling, display, battery, storage, and price still determine whether it is a good buy. Phone shoppers should use the same filter. More RAM can help multitasking and keep more apps available, but it is not a standalone quality score. A phone's camera pipeline, software support window, battery health, radio bands, storage, and price often matter more to the experience. Samsung's July 22nd announcement for the Galaxy Z Fold 8, Fold 8 Ultra, and Flip 8 illustrates the direction of travel. Premium phones are being marketed around larger displays, multitasking, and AI features. Samsung says the Fold 8 Ultra uses a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy and a 5,000 mAh battery, while the standard Fold 8 has a 7.6-inch main display. Those are product claims from Samsung, not independent battery or AI tests. They nevertheless show why manufacturers are designing devices around more simultaneous work. For a phone purchase, check the exact RAM and storage configuration in your region. Do not assume every color, carrier offer, or capacity tier has the same memory. Then ask a simpler question. Will this phone hold the apps, photos, and tasks you actually use over its supported life? If not, a slightly cheaper model with a more sensible configuration can be better value than a flagship feature list. Now the guardrails. We do not have evidence here that every consumer RAM product is rising today. We do not have evidence that every laptop maker will increase prices by a certain percentage. We do not have evidence that an AI feature by itself justifies paying for more memory. Retail pricing also depends on inventory already in the channel, contracts, exchange rates, promotions, competing components, and each manufacturer's product strategy. DRAM, NAND, HBM, and device pricing move on related but not identical tracks. A supplier's strong quarter is a signal about the market. It is not a shopping cart forecast. That distinction protects you from two bad decisions: panic buying a device you do not need, or buying the cheapest configuration and calling it a bargain without considering how long it will stay useful. Here is the Modem Mint checklist. 1. Identify the actual workload. Web, school, office, coding, photo work, gaming, video editing, virtual machines, or local AI are different jobs. 2. Check the installed memory, not just the processor label. For desktops, check how many slots are free and the supported memory type. For laptops, check whether memory is soldered, partially upgradable, or fully upgradable. 3. Compare the complete configuration. Storage capacity, display, battery, ports, warranty, repairability, and software support belong on the same page as RAM. For price the configuration you will still want in 2 or 3 years. If an upgradable desktop kit is discounted and you have a real near-term need, buying a compatible kit can be rational. Buying random memory because of a shortage headline is not. 5. Save a short list and watch final prices rather than reacting to a single claim percentage. Retail competition and promotions can matter more than a broad industry narrative on the day you buy. The big change is not that every gadget suddenly needs maximum RAM. It is that AI has made memory capacity, bandwidth, manufacturing complexity, and long-term supply more central to the technology market. The confirmed evidence from Micron is a tight industry picture and a manufacturer expectation that constraints may last. The analysis is that buyers should treat memory as a first-class part of a purchase, especially when it cannot be upgraded. The remaining unknown is the exact effect on any one device or retail price. So shop the machine, not the hype. Get enough memory for your work, verify upgradability, compare complete configurations, and do not mistake a supplier forecast for a guarantee. Sources are in the description. Subscribe to Modem and Mint for consumer technology explained with the receipts.